So without further ado, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Shri Niraj Kumar. Neeraj ji is a well-known proponent of Pan-Asianism. He is the author of a major work on Asian integration, Arise Asia, and its sequel, Asia in Post-Western Age. A commentator on Sak Tantra, his book, Sri Yantra and Geophilosophy of India, was internationally well received. His recent work is 5-volume translation and new commentary over Kal Chakra Tantra. The second volume is to be released soon. This text was the last major Buddhist work composed in India and the most excellent fruit of the Nalanda tradition. He currently handles Buddhist affairs in the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, as the director. Today, he'll be telling us about his scholarly work focusing on the historical significance of mandalas. Over to you, Neeraj ji. If you can unmute yourself, and I think you should be able to share your screen.
Thank you very much, Anvita. And good evening, all dear friends from Art Fraternity, as well as the organizer of this Mandala Confluence. First and foremost, I am indeed grateful to Anvita for imposing trust in someone who cannot doodle with artist brush. But facing all of you, the craftsmen of aesthetics, this has produced even a kind of sublime delight in me also. And I wanted to share something from field of Buddhist mandala art. My only brush with Buddhist mandala is through my 7-year-long study of Kal Chakra Tantra. And as you can see, this is the Kal Chakra mandala. And this is the highest among, tantras also, and any mandala in Indic system, because it has 722 deities in this mandala. This Kal Chakra was the last major Buddhist tantra to be composed in India. And indeed, it is a capsule of Nalanda tradition. In fact, the Kal Chakra sand mandala, this has popularized this mandala art across the Western countries. So I'll be putting some light on Kal Chakra mandala as well as history of mandala and some principles of mandala art as practiced in the Buddhist tradition. So now I have got a presentation. So I'll be sharing the slide and discussing one by one. Sharing the screen now. Here you can see, what do we mean by mandala? Many people think mandala is a circle, some kind of ring, or you say ki mandala for wheel, even for ball. No, mandala has several different contexts. We have also Raj Mandala, as in Chanakya theory. So mandala is in a way is an imperial domain also, where the king is connected to different different provinces in hierarchy, and all these are arranged in concentric rings. So mandala is not only meant for circle. Mandala are also made from squares and rectangle. In a way, mandala is any kind of enclosure. Okay, so the universe is wide open. So any enclosure, when you put that, becomes a mandala. Then mandala has another meaning of, we all know ki, like there are 10 chapters in Rig Veda, and these are called mandalas. So those are also a kind of division. So that means mandala is something, you create a chamber, an enclosure, and that divides you from rest of things. Then mandala is also, what we say, the 5 Mahabhuta, 5 great elements: earth, water, fire, wind, and space. And when we breathe, it is said that 10 kind of mandalas of prana, vayu, that enters our body. So 5 mandalas are on the right side, and these have, it is said that this is masculine in nature, and 5 mandala are on left side. The mandala is in that context also, it stands for the 5 elements, great elements. Then mandala is also a dance posture, a standing posture. Then when you go to Natya Shastra, Bharat Muni, there you also find mandala. So mandala in Buddhist art also we find many deities standing in mandala position, and the maximum stretching of your thigh you can do, and then like this. So this is the mandala posture, which pertain to, in a way, the posture of an elephant. So mandala is not only circle, mandala is any kind of enclosure. Okay, so next. Now let us come to what is mandala art. How it started, we will see it. So for me, I was just summing up yesterday night how to say why mandala art is so important, and the journey it had taken and where it stands now. So we cannot only put it in, religious framework. So we have to take a universal outlook. So I said, what is mandala art? Basically, it is geometrization of our thoughts. To put it in a geometric structure, abstract thinkings. Then when the monks and this different traditions use mandala, they are imbuing sacredness into geometrical pattern. Then mandala is also a kind of tunnel to enter into supramundane affairs from the ordinary. In Buddhist Tantra, mandalas are said to, mediate between this world and the other world, para, transcendental world. Then mandala is in a sense, you also know how to generate networking of your neurons, because when you weave those patterns, so, and that weaving that generates, the neuronal connections. It is also a kind of meditative tool. And bhavna kram is sequence, bhavna is to meditate. So when sequentially you are focusing on something, so it's a bhavna kram. So this is how I'm trying to define. And then you try to, merge yourself into the whole universe. So you, in mandala art, we try to, replicate self-similar patterns. Then mandala art is not only geometry, it is also aesthetics. If there is no aesthetic, then it is not an art. So mandala art is something which also produces rasa within us. By just looking at it and we know, oh, this is awesome. And that touches our soul. Then mandala art, it cannot be only recurring. We will show in some of the figures which I put in PPT. There are even non-recurring patterns, but that also produces delight. Then mandala is a kind of psychological transformation, as you know, how Carl Jung started during the 19th century. And then mandala is also a tool of self-satisfaction by modulating creation of universal pattern. You feel, oh, you are controlling the nature, the pattern of nature. And that gives us a kind of feeling of that creator. How this mandala's art and the techniques develop? So we find there has been mention of mandala in the Vedas, but it is not in the sense of these patterns. It is only, separating within one enclosure you are putting, then that becomes one mandala and remaining chapter. So it's in that sense. But in the, if you see some of the later Vedic texts, we have the different patterns of this sacrificial pits in the form of like a falcon or something like that. So these were the Vedas. So some kind of pattern even for your sacrificial fire altar. So that was there. So I think that was the primordial form of, building mandalas. Buddhist art developed in the 1st century BC. And as you know, in the initial phase, there were no statues of Buddha, no figures of Buddha. In Buddhism, it was only a linga and lingi. What is that? Indicator. So chakra, the wheel, that was the indicator of, Buddha. So the art developed only when the Kusanas came and this Gandhara art and Mathura art started developing. We will see how chakra is very important for mandala in the color symbolism. So you have to remember that chakra was our is our actual model for mandala art. The first instance of the mandala art one finds in Sanchi. It was in the first half of 5th century when 4 Buddhas were placed at at gates in all the 4 directions. And thereafter, when the Vajrayana, there were emergence of Vajrayana and Tantric practices, then this mandala art developed. Mandala was in a way a kind of non-phonetic communication. You see, the tantras, these were considered to be esoteric, secret, not exoteric. So for something which you want to publicly pronounce, for that you need phonetic language. But something which you want to conceal, then you have to communicate through non-phonetic mediums. Mandala was one of those. It was through, images, geometrical patterns, you are communicating something. But it was not alone. In the tantric practices, you also find mudra. Mudras, what are mudras? These are the gestures. So you are communicating through gestures. And then there was Sanket Sastra, and which was known as Chuma Sastra. So that was based on, different kind of signs, bodily signs, not only hand and fingers. The earliest mandala in Buddhism, we find it is in Guhit Samadhi, which came up during late 7th or early 8th century. And it was 13 deity mandala, then Buddha Kapal Tantra with 9 deity, Chakra Samval Tantra, Dakini Jal Samval Tantra. So in Buddhist Tantra, basically you have to remember 5 major Buddhist tantric texts. Earliest was Manjushri Mulkar, then Guhit Samaj, then Chakra Samvar, then Hevaj Tantra came, and the last was the Kal Chakra Tantra with the 722 deities. So in a way, in Indian mandalas, we have a record of from 5 to 722 deities can be arranged in these mandalas. And again, the deities are also very interesting. These are, your own thoughts or even abstract concepts. When these have been given human form, these become deities. Like different kind of virtues, those have become deities in the mandalas. Similarly, different kind of knowledge, those have become deities in mandala. Different kind of material objects. In mandala, you find even Kunji Devi, the key, and that becomes the deity. Or Kapat Devi, the door's frame, and that becomes a deity. So basically, any thought, when you give it a anthropomorphic form and deify it, so that thought becomes, a kind of deity and represented within this mandala framework. But what I found, there have been mention of much bigger mandala, though no one has yet, prepared that big mandala. It has been mentioned in the Kal Chakra Tantra. In the 2nd chapter, there are 5 chapters in Kal Chakra Tantra, and it said that in the Adi Buddha Tantra, the root Kal Chakra Tantra, because this Kal Chakra Tantra is the abridged version. So there in Adi Buddha Tantra, the mandala has 1620 deities, 1620. Kha Kar Nipati. So Kha is a space, it stands for number 0. Kar means hands, it stands for number 2. And Nipati is king, it stands for number 16, 16 virtue. And then you have to read it in the reverse order. So it becomes 0 to 16. You read it 16 to 0, 1620. This is called Bhut Sankhya system. So when you read ancient Indian astronomical texts, so all the numbers are given only in this Bhut Sankhya numeral system. So we find even mention of 1620 deities in mandala, but no one has seen, and till now we have not seen it. Some of the important texts of the Buddhist mandalas are, it is in 11th century only, it was written by Abhyakar Gupta. He was from Vikramshila, Nalanda, and he wrote one text, Nispanna Yogavali, and there 26 mandalas have been described in the Vajrayavali section. Then there is Mitra Yogi 12th century collection of 108 mandalas. So he also, after destruction of Vikramshila, he went to Nepal, and then he put all these 108 mandala there. The both texts are published, and if someone is interested, I can share the PDF of both the texts also. So you know that in India, mandalas started moving from merely text and for the rituals to the monastery. So you have got mandala art, Tabu, late 10th century. And when you go to Ladakh, we all know about Alchi art, but must visit Sumdu and you'll find interesting mandalas and in very good shape. You have mandalas in Ajanta also. And then the mandala art from the walls of the monastery, it also moves as architectural mandalas. You have got the huge architectural mandala of Borobudur. And it took almost 100 years to build that Borobudur complex from 8th to 9th century. And the arrangement of deity, it is in circular mandalic fashion, and it has connection with the numbers. Numbers are very important in Buddhist mandala art. So when we see Buddhist architecture up to Borobudur and thereafter also, so we find in earlier phase, it used to be a stupa, just plain stupa dome shape. And from a stupa, it became pagodas, and from pagoda to mandalas. So this is, I have shown you how the development took place. This is stupa, and then pagoda, and then these are the mandala architecture in Buddhism. If you see, there are 5 layers. The lowest layer is earth, heaviest, so it will be on the lowest portion, and then water, white, fire, red, wind, black, and space is blue. Here it is blue, but in Kal Chakra space is green. We will show it to you. So this was in the architecture. This is how the mandala was applied with these 5 Mahabhuta categories. In this is the Panchayatan structure, which was being used in both in mandala also and architecture also among the Buddhists. So here, if you see, these are 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the innermost is space, then comes wind, then comes, so you see, what is this form? So from here, it is coming downward. So it's like a spiral. In a spiral, we know from center how it takes curves. It's like a spiral. From a space, it comes to wind, and then it goes clockwise to fire, but not from here to here. That will be clockwise. So from fire to water this way, and then to earth. So earth is the last. So this sequence is known as, we will discuss later on also here, this is a creation sequence, because from a space, then wind, fire, water, and earth, and finally earth is created. And how this space, why it is inside in the center? The reason is because our whole philosophy has been influenced a lot by the chakra model, wheels. Okay. And the center of the wheel was known as Kha, even in the Vedas. And they could never understand why this space that moves the wheel and the wheel moves the world. So this axle, it used to be hollow. And if you know Dukh and Sukh, that came from same Kha. That Kha is a space, hollowness, emptiness. So when this wheel with Kha, means a space in between came, then only chariots, could be built. So that was the highest technology at that time. Not only riding a horse, but riding a chariot. So that wheel has a space in the center. So same model was taken up in this Panchayatan model, and a space in the center, and then you have got all other 4. This Panchayatan model, if you see the both Bodh temple, it is a Panchayatan model. Same thing here. You at 4 corners, you have 4, minor stupa, and in the middle is the major stupa. And this template, architectural template of 5 Mahabhuta, which we also find in Mandala. So these were replicated all across Asia. I could find 7 replicas of Mahabodhi temple itself across Asia, 2 in Beijing, then in Mongolia, in Thailand, in Myanmar, and being built from 12th century onwards. So this Panchayatan model was not limited only to Indian Buddhist temple, but it also spread all over the world. Now, these are the basic shapes and some of the numerical combinations which are used in Buddhist mandala art. So this is the lotus. And you know, again, lotus is very interesting. If you see the lotus stalk and you cut it, and you know, okay, there are this 8 parts. It's like chakra also. If you take, it's like a ring. So this lotus had, you know, 8 petals. Then we had this chakra model again with 8, and this was the 9, you know, with 9 part grid. So 3, 6, 9. So these 3 basic shapes were used. Then you have got the earliest is only 4 shapes, 4 portions here, and this is a Panchayatan model. Number of deities which could be placed. So if you see from Panchayatan, this would be the simplest one. 5, 1 deity here, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 9, because if you after 5 you put 1 in each direction, it becomes 9. 13, then you put 1 each in each corner, it becomes 13. So that way, you know, they could do permutation and combination with numbers, and without numbers you cannot have mandala. You know, it must be having not number symbolism also. And then in concentric circle, say in the first circle you have 4 petals, then the next you have 8, next can be 16, next can be 64. So like in Kal Chakra we have that kind of how the nadi channels, no, that go. So it is 4, 8, 16 and 64. But it has also 4, 8, 12. So you have got different combination. It's not that it is only going to double. So it is 4, 8, 12, 60. Because then 12 becomes 5 each. So there can be different possibilities. Here I am showing some of the Buddhist mandalas. Like this is Heruka mandala, very simple. You have got only 9. That is 1, 2, 1 at the center, 4 in the directions, and 4 in the corners, 9. Then you have got Vairochan mandala. Again, very simple. Vajra Dhatu mandala. This is there in the Tabo monastery. If you see here 5, 1 Panchayatan. So there are 5 Panchayatan here. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 25. And then you have 1 each in the corners, that becomes 29. If you put more in the corner, that can become 13. So that way Vajra Dhatu mandala we find even up to 71 deity Vajra Dhatu mandalas in Japan and other places. Then the deities are not only, you know, to be placed, it has to be placed in some kind of sequence. It may be clockwise, it may be anti-clockwise, it may be in the sequence of generation, Srishti, Kram, or it can be in Sanghal sequence. So like generation sequence, I was discussing, if from a space, you know, wind comes, then fire and water and then earth. So this is the generation sequence. But how this Sanghal dissolution sequence takes place, then it is from the corners, it is not from the directions. So it starts from Agni corner. You have got this is east and this is south. Then it becomes southeast. So from southeast, then you go to Isan corner. Okay, this is northeast, and then you go to southwest. Okay, Narik corner, Demon, and then you go to Vayu corner. So this is the last. So this is the dissolution sequence. But there are several other combinations, because even these sequences can be reversed. It has to be read like, you know, anagrams and that kind of things. This one, which will be in my 3rd volume of the book, because this is the month of Shravan. So if you see even 30 days of a month, that can be placed in the mandala, and each has a seed syllable. So it starts from here, and even these are 30 days of Shravan month. So it starts from this wind first. More, you would see digit papa papa ma, so the pop consonant series had to be multiplied by the vowels, 5 vowels, and anuswar, that bindu, 6. So it becomes 6 5 to 30, and one syllable for one phoneme each for each of the day. We just start from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again it comes to here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Again it comes here, 13, 14. And 15th day is the full moon. Okay. Then the full moon will be in the center. That becomes B. After B, it becomes B. Then 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, so on. This is 29, and then this is the new moon. The new moon seed syllable is Pang. So you see, in this mandala we find here it is Panchayatan also. One at the, it is center also, some syllables are there. It's not necessary that mandala can be only for the image, deity. It can also be based on numbers. It can also contain only 6 syllables. So even this is a beautiful mandala, and 4, and then you have got 8, and you have got 16 here. So 16, 8, 24, 4, 28, and in the center is the full moon and new moon. That becomes 30. So see, it's without dating, but it's a mandala. Now we come to the architectural mandala of Borobudur. This is the design, and this is the actual Borobudur. Okay. And this has, this represents 3 different lokas. In Buddhism, it's basically philosophy, which has been, put into a construction, physical construction. So there are 3 lokas: Arup Loka, formless world, and then Rup Loka, the world of forms, and then you have Kam Loka. So these 3 layers have been represented in Borobudur, and the topmost is the Arup Loka. So as you move up this complex stupa, then you move from the Kam Loka to Rup Loka to the highest Arup Loka. This is the Kesaria Stup in Bihar. Again, this is the mandala pattern of Kesaria Stup, and some part, not some, half parts has been destroyed and very difficult to retrieve. But the more study is required to understand the pattern of this Kesaria Stup. Now I come to the mandala on which means I do some study. This is the Kal Chakra mandala with 722 deities. These are not visible deities, but you see there are different layers. So this is the 2D model of Kal Chakra mandala, and the sand mandala is being prepared, and after initiation ceremony, this sand mandala is then dissolved in rivers or lakes, and this is the 3-dimensional. Okay, there are generally people think that there are only 3 layers in the Kal Chakra mandala, because the Mahayana said that there are 3 kind of bodies of Buddha. So one is Nirman Kaya, physical, and then one is Sambhog Kaya, like we are discussing. I'm not there physically, but my image is there. So this is the body of forms. So all this Facebook, Zoom, and everything, these are Sambhog Kaya, dim body. And you don't have substance, no corporeality there, it's only form. And then we have got, after Nirman Kaya, Sambhog Kaya, then you have got Dharma Kaya. So that is one model. Kal Chakra came up with another Kaya. They said there is Sahaj Kaya, innate body, natural body, which is always happy. And in the Kal Chakra mandala, all these Kayas are also represented in different, layers, but connoting different things also. Like the outer layer is Kaya Chakra, body chakra. Then it is the speech chakra, Vak chakra. Then it is the Chitta chakra, mind chakra. And then within mind chakra, you have got Gyan chakra. Okay. And within Gyan chakra, you have got Mahasukh chakra. So, and so this is the 5, layered, actually 5 layered mandala of the Kal Chakra, grand mandala. Now, just like in Buddhism, we have got the Kal Chakra, the highest mandala. In Hindu Tantric thought, it is Sri Yantra. And Sri Yantra, again, it is a mathematical structure. There are 43 triangles, and you generate 43 triangles from 9 triangles. So this is interesting. You are generating same, the same thing, like you are producing more triangle by using 9 triangle. So your means almost 5 times more triangle forms you are producing. So this is Sri Anta, and it is there are 3 layers of trifurcation and how it comes to. I have shown the mathematical the thing also in my book Sri Anta and Geophilosophy of India. Then here we come. You see, even our whole body itself is a mandala. And in the Kal Chakra, in the 5th chapter, we study how within body, our bones, all these are kind of pillars. In mandala, mandala is also has an architectural design. Mandala has got, uh, interval, antaral, then pillars, then mandala has got garbhagriha. So just like in architecture of a temple. So similarly, each mandala has similar, architectural concepts also. So within body, these bones, those becomes a kind of pillars of the mandala. And then you have got mandala, all these bodily constituent, dhatu, liver, kidney, and phefra, fuffus, all these become, a kind of a part of participating in a body mandala. And this is a very, very dense reading of the 5th chapter of Kal Chakra Tantra. And that will be coming, that will be my last volume. So maybe that will be coming only in year 2025. Now you come to this human body. When I was going through the text, and you find it is mentioned in the text, in Kal Chakra, they say you have got now, like if you measure your height, it will be only 96 digits. Okay. So from the forehead to your like a secret portion just below navel, so this is 50 digits, finger width. Okay. So that they say it is the body mandala, kaya, that outer one, this one. So this is the body mandala of the within body, kaya mandala. And then half of that 25 digits from throat to navel, this is the speech mandala of our body. And has half of that, this is 12.5 finger weights. So just above your heart, if you count 10 and 2.5, then that is the mind mandala of our body. And within that, half of that, 6.25 finger weights, that is the Gyan mandala of our body. And within that, 3 and 1/8. Okay, that is the Mahasukh mandala, the place of joy. That is your, I termed that the mathematical Sambhala. And if you convert 3 1/8, it is almost pi, 3.125, very close to 5. So this is the approximation of pi. And from pi, I shift to how, this pattern, the mathematics, the science of pattern that originated in Western world. Pythagoras, he said that universe has harmonic structure, and that harmony exists independently, and that harmony had numerical expression. And Pythagoras' guru was Anaximander. He numeralized the whole cosmos. Same thing has been done by Kal Chakra also. After Pythagoras, when Plato, he used Pythagorean cosmology, but rather than hello.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry, I think somebody like just unmuted.
So Pythagoras, he used, geometrical shapes rather than numbers. But what happened, during Pythagoras time only, there was problem with, irrational numbers, because the something called phi that emerged. And phi was not a whole or rational number on which the whole Pythagorean theory was based. So this and this after Plato, this people are now struggling with how to like bring this irrational numbers into this cosmic pattern. And then we come to 12th century Italian thinker Fibonacci. He came up okay, how this phi has come to that Fibonacci sequence all of us know, and all those who are practicing Mandala art, they are well aware with golden mean and phi. Okay, and but beyond phi, if you see, if beyond Fibonacci numbers also, then uh, uh, different kind of series have started coming up. And in 1957, George Bergman, only a 12-year-old boy, he came up with a number system with base of 5. So this was, this was a kind of revolution in mathematics. Okay, something with a base of 5, and you generate normal integer, and that was done by just a 12-year boy. He's still alive, and he's a great mathematician based in US, George Bergman. So this is what these are the Bergman numbers, and okay, how you can generate all the integers just with a base of 5. Here come now, in last 20 years, another kind of numbers and patterns have developed, that have been developed by Latin American mathematicians. You know more, Spinadel, and it has been termed the metallic means. So Fibonacci sequence, that is just one of the series of her formulation. So that is golden mean. But then we have got silver mean, bronze mean, copper mean, nickel mean, and diamond mean has been discovered in quantum systems. Okay, so now even Fibonacci sequence becomes just expression of one particular algebraic formulation. And we don't know if on Fibonacci sequence we can generate so many patterns. We don't know what kind of patterns these sequences are going to have, which we can use in Mandala art. Some of the, we all know metallic mean based pattern. These are the metallic mean based patterns. And quasi crystal, Nobel Prize for Chemistry was given in 2011. So we will just discuss in next thing. We are having hyperbolic geometry, and particularly Bourdonnais geometry. That is very important, because they say that the Bourdonnais geometry explains the bioform in a much better way. So we don't know what kind of patterns emerge from, when you work with Bourdonnais geometry. And because now AI can help in generating those patterns. And these are fractals, all of us know. But fractals and the new geometry has some difference. In fractal, it had to be self-similar patterns. And here we are, and in fractal, it had to recurring, periodic. But now we have aperiodic patterns also. This is famous Penrose tiling. It never repeats, but he used two kind of tiles, two different type of tiles. And this is Penrose tiling. But Penrose did not get Nobel Prize for this. He got Nobel Prize for astrophysics. And in 2021, this Greenfield and Tao, they have discovered this aperiodic tiling based on only one type of tile. Penrose had used two types. Now it is one type of tile used for this Greenfield and Tao tiling. So we are seeing how, the pattern need not be periodic only. And these are beautiful patterns, even in aperiodic patterns. And this is the last slide I'm sharing. If you see, this is our Kal Chakra Mandala in the square pattern. It's not sulky, and this is the king of Mandala. And this is the image of a chip. And you see, it's so similar. So what I meant to say, that till now, Chakravati, highest technology. So in our art, it was all chakra, chakra, chakra. Now, with this silicon intelligence, with this chip revolution, it's all the microchips, which are the highest technology now. So our new art form must be based on seeds and chips. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. This was indeed very fascinating. And for someone who's really interested in both mathematics and mandalas, like this was definitely some of the information I obviously was aware of, but the way you tied the two things together was very interesting and very fascinating to know. I saw a few people were really interested to get the recording / the PDF or the presentation. We are recording this session, so we will be sharing the recording. So yeah, just hang on for that. And then we are running a bit late. We have our next speaker, Rishi ji, here already, but I will take one question which was posted in the chat. Why should one take up mandala art, and what impact does it provide in any individual's life? If you would like to sort of answer that. I know it's very open-ended, more philosophical, I think.
Any art always produces delight, happiness, and finally contentment. So for your santusti and tusti of soul and heart, you must follow any passion. Okay, and I think the mandala art has color, it has pattern, and it has all your feelings also. So this is going to help you to evolve as a better human being.
I completely agree with that. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, sir, for taking out the time from your schedule. And I'm sure most of us enjoyed this session, and it was new information to all of us, I believe. So I will be sharing the presentation, and if I guess, sir, if you have any email that if someone is interested in sort of reaching out to, if you can just share that, I will be happy to share it with people. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for your time, sir.
Thank you very much.